Okay, I'm back. Part 2. Now, you got to figure, when you guys see this, I don't remember where I was at because I did part 1 yesterday at noon, and today it's like 9 in the morning. So I've done a lot of things in between there, so I'm just going back to. So if it sounds like I changed course or I missed something or whatever, that's why. I'm not walking through 30 minutes of this 116 pages in one setting. Here we go. Approximately 3 hours. Using these components provided in a kit. So they're saying that they made a real gun in 3 hours, which isn't against the law. There's no time limit yet. Government will soon say that if you can build a gun in 3 hours, then it's dangerous. A confidential informant working with the ATF, the CI is confidential informant. Normally, we would call them a reliable confidential. If they're reliable, then we've used them before and they've got a history of being truthful. If they're just a CI, a confidential informant, that usually means he has no credibility. He's just someone off the streets and we're believing him. But you can use a CI as long as it's not the main gist of your probable cause. If the CI says, hey man, they're selling drugs out of here, I can use that as part of my probable cause. I can't get a warrant on that. But if he says, hey, they're selling drugs out there, then we set up a stakeout and we code 5 the place for, 3 days, and we see multiple cars coming in and out, and we ran those cars, and the cars are registered to people who all have prior drug use, sales, etc. And we've watched and we've seen hand-to-hand buys in front of the place, and when people go in, they're not carrying anything. When they come out, they tend to be carrying something in their hand. It looks like a plastic baggie, which drugs is commonly stored in. Then we can justify and use all that. Then we can use the CI. So a CI is okay if you have other stuff. Now, a reliable confidential informant, let's say if I have a reliable confidential informant and I've used him 8, 10 times, and out of those 8 or 10 times, it's always resulted in arrest and convictions or arrest and seizure of evidence. Now, he's got some credibility. I can probably get a warrant just on him, basically talking to him and working him and from my past experience, etc. So that's the difference when you see a CI versus a reliable confidential. But here we go. The CI assembled a fully functional firearm in approximately 21 minutes. Oh, we went from 3 hours to 21 minutes. Still not a crime. The ATF Senior Super Special Secret Agent, who is an ATF certified secret special firearms expert, determined that the buy-build kit has designed, manufactured, and distributed by Polymer 80 is a firearm as defined by federal law. So here's where they're going after him. They're saying it's no longer a kit, it's a firearm. And they're probably going to explain why. Has a weapon which will or is designed or may, look at all those if, and, buts, and coconuts, to where we can arrest you pesky citizens for anything, any way, any shape or form. We'll holler, ignorance of the law is no excuse. We'll put your ass in prison. You'll have to defend yourself. And even if you win, you lose and we win. Yeah, okay. It isn't federal government great? All government. As defined by federal law, okay. Which will or is designed or may readily be converted to expel a projectile by the action of an explosive. Okay. As well as a handgun, defined as a firearm, which has a short stock and is designed to be held and fired by the use of a single hand and any combination of parts from which a firearm can be assembled. Wow, that's just clear as mud. Man, we're so lucky to have government to make everything so clear so they can freaking screw us over, take away our freedom, stick them in prison because of their bullshit. Anyway, I digress. Here we go. Number 9. Despite Polymer 80 sales of items meeting the federal definition of a firearm, Polymer 80 appears to abide by the rules and regulations governing the sale and disposition of firearms. And wait a minute, are they saying they did it right? Despite Polymer 80 sales of items meeting the federal definition of a firearm, Polymer 80 appears not, okay, I missed not, sorry, not to abide by the rules and regulations governing the sales. So it appears not. It's not saying it is not. It appears. How does it appear? Because of all these if, and, buts, and coconuts. We just talked about would, may, if, and, but. If the moon's in the 7th star and Aquarius is sitting in the right position, then it's a crime. That's why it may appear sometimes, maybe, not to abide by the rules and regulations governing the sales and disposition of firearms, including laws and regulations pertaining to FFLs. For example, it appears that Palomar does not conduct investigation or require background checks on individuals purchasing firearms from Palomar 80 website. Well, first of all, my guess is Palomar 80 is saying we're not selling firearms, we're selling firearms kit. And because we can sell them a kit, they're building the firearm, they're putting it together, whether it takes them 21 minutes, 3 hours, or 14 days and a partridge in a pear tree, they're putting the firearm together. We're not selling it. We're selling parts. Are you telling me that now we're going to charge bullet manufacturers for a crime because I buy a bullet and I put it in a gun, therefore the gun wasn't a gun until I put the bullet in, and since I put the bullet in, the bullet manufacturer gave me a gun without running a background on me? That's where we're heading. We've already got over 30,000 gun laws on the books. As soon as we reach 100,000, pretty much we'll be safer. Okay, let's see. Firearm on their website, ships the firearms to individuals outside his home state. Now, I don't know if this is a crime in and of itself. Can an FFL sell parts or guns to other states? In Texas, I know I can buy a pistol or a rifle. But if I go across the border to Oklahoma, I can only buy a rifle. I can't buy a pistol unless I'm from the state. Those are federal laws. Those aren't state laws. So if you come from Oklahoma to Texas, you can buy a rifle, but you cannot buy a pistol because it's not your home state. But Texas can sell anybody from any state a rifle. So is that the law that they're citing? I don't know. Does not provide notice to common carriers that firearms are being shipped and stored through. Okay, so now they're trying to say that the government, with all their money and taxpayer money and waste of money and, you know, all the crimes that are out there being committed, they're trying to protect carriers, common carriers, meaning Fed Up and UPS, common carriers, that firearms are being shipped through their facilities. Is that a law? Do you have to tell? Is that the federal government's job, is to protect FedEx from shipping a gun that they don't know about? I mean, what? Jesus, man. And does not keep proper records required by FFLs. Okay, here's where they can probably, the catch-all, they say proper records. What is proper records? That pretty much means any damn thing we say you should keep, might keep, maybe keep, and you didn't keep, or anything that we want, and when we ask, you don't have. Therefore, you're in violation of law. That's probably what that means. Lastly, based on records obtained from third parties as part of this investigation, it appears that Palomar 80 shipped items to individuals determined to be felons and otherwise, what, did they know that? Are they required to know that? So let me get this straight. If I order something in the mail, let's say I order a big kitchen knife, and I'm on probation that says I can't own a knife, the person that shipped me that knife should be committing a federal crime because they didn't do a background check before they shipped me a knife. Is that where we're going? Well, Rick, a knife is different than a gun, and you don't understand it. The government's trying to protect us, and guns are dangerous. Yeah, that's because you're a freaking idiot. All right, prohibited purchases of firearms and ammunition, as well as individuals located in foreign countries. Is that a crime? Can I not send something to my Russian brothers from the U.S.? Can I not get anything from Russia? I thought we had trade deals to where we're buying shit from China everywhere. Now we can't sell things or give it to other countries? I guess I should just get up with the federal laws. I'm just not up on all of them. Background on firearms, federal firearms. Definition of a firearm. A firearm defined by 18 U.S. Code 921-3A as any weapon, including a starter gun, which will or is designed to or may readily be converted to expel a projectile by the action of an explosive. This definition includes the frame of the receiver of any such weapon. Well, the definition may include the frame, but the frame itself cannot shoot a gun. It needs a firing pin. It needs a slide. It needs a round. It needs a magazine of its own. So the frame itself cannot shoot a bullet. But I think they include it as a frame, as a firearm, because when you buy the frame, that's the serialized number. and that's what has to be registered. But most 80% lowers, an 80% frame, does not have a serial number and is not required to have a serial number because it is not a firearm until the owner drills out and makes it into a firearm, which is legal under federal law because you can make your own firearm. Rick, how's somebody supposed to know this? Well, ignorance of the law is no excuse. You're a pesky citizen and you should know. Otherwise, government has you by the balls and can send your ass to prison. That's why. Because we live in a free country. We have a constitution and the government works for us. All right. A handgun, as defined 18 U.S. Code firearm, which is a short stock, a firearm which has a short stock and is designed to be held and fired by the use of a single hand. Any combination of parts from which a firearm described in subparagraph A can be assembled. Yeah, okay, I got that. Everybody got that? Good. This is lawyer talk. This is a lawyer writing this, remember? Unfinished frames are parts for a pistol that have not yet reached a point in the manufacturing process, as 80% uppers, to be considered frames. The distribution between a finished and unfinished frame is that a finished frame is capable of receiving the components necessary to assemble it, which is a completed frame. The 80% uppers are not completed and you can't assemble it. You need to do some drill. In addition, a complete pistol frame, which often has rails to allow the attachment of the slide, which contains additional components such as a barrel, recoil, spring assembly, and firing pin. Pistols slides are not regulated by ATF and may be sold, purchased, or transported in interstate commerce fully assembled. It may be or may not be. Let me read that again. Pistol slides are not okay, yeah, because the frame is the serial number. A slide usually just holds the firing pin, the barrel, etc. But it won't work unless it's connected to a frame. So the frame is a serialized number. Pistol slides are not regulated by ATF and may be sold, purchased, transported, interstate, fully commerce assembled. Okay, great. Let's see here. What's next? Background of federal firearms regulations governing FFL sales. Federal laws require individuals and businesses to obtain a license in order to manufacture or sell firearms. Yes, if you manufacture. 80% uppers, you're not manufacturing. You're selling pieces and parts. It's like you don't have to have an FFL to sell a barrel of a gun. You don't have to have an FFL to sell a bullet, to sell a magazine, to sell grips, to sell sights for a gun. You only need an FFL if you're selling a serial numbered frame that is considered a firearm. All right, manufacture sell. 18 U.S. Code 922A, subparagraph 1-A provides that it shall be unlawful for any person except a licensed importer, licensed manufacturer, or licensed dealer to engage in business of importing, manufacturing, or dealing in firearms in the course of such business to ship, transport, or receive any firearm in interstate or foreign commerce. Cool, man. I'm glad I got that sentence. Ain't nothing like a good run-on sentence to screw with you pesky citizens. 18 U.S. Code 921A10 defines manufacturer to mean any person engaged in a business or manufacturing firearms or ammunition for the purpose of sale or distribution. 18 U.S.C. 921. If you haven't noticed, 18 U.S.C., that's pretty much that's the penal code for federal government. Anything that you get charged with a crime is 18 U.S.C. So any crime that you're getting charged from the feds falls under 18 U.S.C. And then you have all the other ones. Okay, so business, manufacturer, firearms, purpose, sale, distribution. Dealer to mean any person engaged in a business selling firearms, wholesale, blah, blah, blah. In addition to being authorized manufacturer, firearms, licensed manufacturer, dealer, firearms dealer. In addition to regulations requiring licensed manufacturers to mark firearms with their unique manufacturing marks and serial numbers, licensed manufacturer dealing in firearms are also required to obtain certificate from the ATF Form 4473 from a non-licensee purchasers, conduct background checks, and are prohibited from shipping firearms across state borders. Okay, it sounds like this right here is pretty much what these... If they shipped a gun to California, they're screwed. If they shipped a gun. Now, in order for them to ship a gun, it sounds like the government is saying you're sending an 80% lower But because it can be assembled in 3 hours by one special agent, super agent, and then it can be assembled by 21 minutes by another super special agent, then we think it's a firearm. So it's not a firearm unless we think it's a firearm, and we only think it's a firearm because our stupid special secret agents can put it together in 21 minutes. Okay, here we go. Hey, this is a warrant, people. This is what you pesky jurors are going to have to sit on and understand. 18 U.S. Code 922T sets forth a requirement that prior to transferring a firearm to a non-licensee, the licensee conducts a national incident crime criminal background check system. It doesn't require that if you have a concealed permit, because when you get a concealed permit, they do a background check. So in Texas, when I buy a gun, they don't have to do a background check on me. I show them my concealed, which is why I have the concealed card, because you can't get that if you're a retired cop and have a concealed permit carry. As a retired cop, I got a concealed carry, but that doesn't exempt me from this. But if I have a state-issued concealed carry, then I'm exempt from background. So when I buy a gun, they don't do a background. I show them my concealed permit, they write down the number, and then they file the 4473 into business, and the government doesn't know I'm buying a gun unless that gun's used in a crime or the business shuts down and they send all the 4473s. All right, let's see. Background check established under Section 103 of that act. Anytime I see act, I know that's government tyranny. Like the Patriot Act has nothing to do with patriotism. In addition, the transfer is required to verify the identity of the transferee by examination of a valid identification document as defined in 1028D of this title. And that transfer contains photographs of the transfer. So, look, I can get somebody to send me a copy of their driver's license, and that way I'm verifying their ID. So I'm not sure if this company was even doing that or if they were saying, don't worry about it, we don't care. 18 U.S. Code 922 AC 23-1421 states that it's unlawful for any importer, manufacturer, dealer, collector, licensee under the provisions of this chapter ship or transport to interstate foreign commerce any firearm to any person other than a licensee importer. I think what they're trying to say here is I can send it to an FFL. An FFL can send from Texas, can send California any firearm because it's transferred from one FL to another and the federal government has their fingers in it and they know that they have to keep records, etc. And that's pretty much what the federal government wants. They don't want private sales. They don't want people to conduct commerce without them having background so they can keep a log and they can keep basically a ghost. Basically, we have gun registration. Okay, we're going to say we don't have gun registration, but if we can get every gun sale to go through a federal firearms license that's controlled by the federal government, then basically we have gun registration. But we won't call it gun registration. We'll call it protecting a pesky citizen and keeping them safe. And then the pesky citizens will cheer, pass more taxes, and say, yay, we need more government to protect us. All right. Interstate firearm, yeah. 18 U.S. Code provides that it's unlawful to sell and deliver. We get it. You're trying to get them for censorship. 18 U.S. Code states it shall be unlawful for any person knowingly to deliver and cause. Knowingly means they packaged it, they shipped it, and they sent it. So they knowingly did it. You can't get out of knowingly on that one. Cause to be delivered, a contract carrier. Oh, wait a minute. This might be for the carrier. 18922E states it shall be unlawful for any person knowingly to deliver or cause to be delivered to any common or contract carrier for transportation or shipment in interstate or foreign commerce to persons other than licensed importers. Oh, so they're saying you can't ship a firearm unless you're sending it to an FFL and you got to notify the carrier. I didn't know that was a law. As a matter of fact, I think in Texas, if I want to send you a gun in San Antonio and I live up here in Dallas, I can send it and I'm not violating the law. I could be wrong, but I thought that's the way the law, and I asked an FFL and he said absolutely. Matter of fact, I won't say who if I can't even remember their name, but I know an FFL who sold a private gun that he owned and shipped it to a person through the mail that I know, and I know the FFL. So either they both broke the law or it's legal, because he wasn't sending it to another FL. He was sending it to a private person on a private party. But I can't remember the name or when it happened. It's just in the back of my mind. So don't be coming here, one of you freaking federal little flunkies. Hey, do you remember? No, I don't remember shit. How about that? All right, collectors. Any package or container which is a firearm ammunition without written notice to the carrier that such firearm ammunition is be. Oh, didn't know that. Maybe that's the law. I don't know. I have to research that. The United States Postal Service maintains a document entitled Publication 52, Hazards, Restrictions, and Perishable Mail, according to the section. So they want this, again, gun registration. They want to know who's shipping it and who's receiving it. But no, Rick, they're just doing that to keep you safe so people can be safe and guns are dangerous. Yeah, okay, that's because you're an idiot. Let's see. Must file a licensing, must file postmaster, PS Form 1508-2.3745 of the PSQ Core Code, a statement of shipper firearms signed by the mailer that he or she licensed manufacturer, dealer, importer firearms. Also, the mailer must state that the parcels containing handguns, parts, components, handguns under 32.2DF54-5 are being mailed in customary trade shipments of contain such articles, repairing replacement parts of the best knowledge of addressee and your manufacturer. Good grief almighty. And people wonder why vets hate the VA, because this is what it takes to get a freaking aspirin at the VA. If you want to know why vets hate the VA, you have to go through this shit to get a freaking aspirin at the VA. According to 18 OU, it shall be unlawful for any licensed importer, manufacturer, or any person other than a person licensed, unless transfer is provided with a secure gun storage and safety device. Wow, so they do have laws that they're snagging them on. They didn't do it. It sounds like they've got these guys by the nuts. If they ship something and they didn't notify the carrier and they sent it to another state and it wasn't an FFL and they didn't include a gun lock, it sounds like, according to those laws, they got Polymer 80 by the nuts. It shall be unlawful. For everything shall be unlawful. Everything shall be unlawful unless the government says it's okay, or unless they don't want to prosecute, or unless somebody in government does it and then we'll ignore it or we'll exempt government. Other than that, all you pesky citizens, everything shall be unlawful. Let's see. Further clarifies this record keeping requirement. Yeah. Finally, provides it shall be unlawful. Yeah, okay, good. Background on Glock type pistol, privately made firearms, or ghost guns. Ooh, put that in parentheses because that sounds scary. Ooh, those ghost guns. Man, they just kind of like sneak up in the middle of the night, especially on Halloween, and they just shoot people because they're ghost guns. Ooh, it sounds scary. Glock. GESMBA trademark has Glock as a firearm manufacturer, headquarters in Austria. Glock is a subsidiary. Glock Inc. Well, yeah, okay, whatever. Glock primary polymer frame pistols in very caliber. Each model is identified by a G along with a corresponding model number, G17G. The G, which stands for Glock. Sorry. Glocks are popular among United States citizens. No shit. And various law enforcement agencies. Okay, why is that important? Why is it important that Glocks are popular? Oh, ATF issues its special secret, super special secret agents Glock pistols. Woo, man, that's really good. Has discussed them all. Polymer manufactures blanks based on Glock's design. According to Polymer's website, in response to questions, what generation Glock products are the PF9420V2 TM and the PF94 compatible with? Polymer 80 answered, is compatible with. So what they did is they sent questions to Polymer 80 to set them up because they knew they were doing this. So how do I make my case stronger? I will email you or post on your website or ask you for guidance as I'm posing as a stupid, pesky citizen, and I will get you to answer things. And if you answer things within the law, I will not mention that or keep that. But if I can get you or twist something you said to go around the law, now I've got you, you pesky citizen, and I will make an example out of you because you want to have guns, and only government should have guns because only government is safe and can protect you. Polymer 80 answered, it's compatible components for Gen 3, 3-pin, 9mm, 1734, blah, 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 blah. It's compatible. Okay, big deal. They answered. So here is a regular Glock frame with holes. Here is a Polymer 80 frame. Dude, if you're taking a picture, you can at least make the picture. I mean, you pick the background. All right, Mr. Lawyer, dude. You want to make the pictures as the same as possible so a judge or an attorney or the juror later can look at this and tell. I can barely tell what the hell the difference. Oh, I'm sorry. maybe the author of this warrant wanted him to look the same, which is why we put it on a dark background, and we make it to where it looks the same. And then you can't tell the differences. Like maybe there's no hole here for the magazine release, and maybe there's no pinholes here, and maybe there's no metal rails, unless you know a Glock, that need to be put here. But if I put this in a background to where you can't see it, it makes my warrant look better, because I can make it look like that mean Polymer 80 is selling a regular Glock, and he's just saying it's not a Glock. This to me is deception. If I was a defense attorney fighting this warrant, this would be my Exhibit A, that this person that wrote the warrant was trying to deceive and hide the fact. And then when I got in front of the juror, I would tell the jury, do you not think this super special secret agent who was an attorney, who's got all this education, didn't know that if I put the Glock gun with the same background as this, it would make it look like it's too different? And if I use this shitty background, I make it look like the same, and then I can fool you stupid people on the juror? That's exactly what I would say to the juror, and I would discredit the guy who wrote this. Mr. Attorney who wrote this warrant, you're a freaking weasel for trying to do that. If your case is so freaking weak that you got to play photo op, change the shit, and hide it, you're a freaking weak-ass special super agent lawyer, whatever. Based on my review of ATF records and my conversation with ATF agents, other law enforcement officers, I learned the following. Wow. Instead of an unfinished receiver, ATS uses the term receiver blanks or frame blanks to describe objects similar to the appearance of pistol frames that have not yet reached the point of manufacturing. Not yet reached the point means it hasn't been drilled out to where you can't really make it into a firearm. You have to manufacture yourself. You have to do, and the ATF made these rules. I think it's like the person who makes a firearm, in order for it to be a homemade firearm, you have to complete at least 20% of the manufacturing yourself, which hence the name 80% uppers. They sell 80%, you do the 20%. No shit. You make the freaking rules, and now you want to change them so you can put pesky citizens in jail and justify your jobs and budgets and more money and more training, whatever. Reach the point of manufacture to be classified as firearm defied to U.S. ATF uses the term privately made firearms, or PMFs, to describe firearms which do not bear a licensed manufacturer mark or serial number. However, colloquiality. What the hell is that? Okay, I had to look this up. So let's see what I found here. How do you say that?
Colloquially.
Colloquially. What?
Colloquially.
Colloquially. Okay, great. It's always good to use common words in search warrant language to impress everyone on how smart you are. So this lawyer puts this word in here that I'm going to say, look, I'm not an idiot. I mean, I got a bachelor's degree. I've been to college. I've been around. I've been a cop for many years. I've written many warrants. I've never seen this freaking word before. Okay? So if I'm going to try and impress the stupid jurors on how stupid they are, I'll use language so they don't understand it. Good job, Mr. Lawyer. So, by using this word,
colloquially,
the language of ordinarily and familiar conversation informally. Wow. Damn. I wonder if he had to look that word up. Nah, shit. I know. He's just smarter than me. All you people out there. I use that word all the time, Rick. You're an idiot. Whatever. Freaking dumbasses. These are referred to as ghost guns. What a fucking idiot. I can't believe you put that word in there. Dude, who wrote this? You ATF super special secret language idiot. According to estimates based on the data, ATF National Tracing Center. Ooh, we have a new ATF National Tracing Center. Man, if we just had more government, we could have an ATF National Tracing Center for the state, local, and county. Man, we could make another government agency. That would be cool. Then we'd be really safe. Approximately 10,000 PMFs or ghost guns were received by law enforcement in 2019. What do you mean? Oh, were recovered by law enforcement. So what's your point? So what is your point? How many bullets were recovered? How many crooked politicians weren't charged? How many fraudulent votes were cast that nobody was ever charged? Why don't you put that number, Mr. Special Secret Super Secret Agent Lawyer? Approximately 2,700 were recovered in California, including for crime scenes, as well as law enforcement seizures from convicted felons, members of violent street gangs. Ooh, man, we're making these 80s connect. We're just going to connect them everything. Shit, I wonder if they seized any of these ghost guns from people with COVID. Ooh, that would have been really good, Mr. Secret Squirrel Warrant. You could have put in here that these ghost guns were received from many people infected with COVID. Ooh, man! Then that would have made your warrant really strong. What the hell? Violent street gangs such as Mara Skodala, MS-13. Ooh, this guy knows his gang language. Ooh, he's smart. And others. And individuals who were otherwise prohibited from possessing firearms. Meaning, what government wants is all you pesky citizens should be prohibited. And only good government lawfully trained special secret super special agents should have guns. I reviewed records of those recoveries and saw that the polymer 80... Oh, I'm at 30 minutes. All right, here we go. I'm going to go right to the next one so I won't lose my place.